So now the tires broke apart, and it's just a matter of breaking the beads free where they're sticky from rust, because these are probably the original tires on this tractor, and then just peel it off. Doesn't matter how you peel it off, because it's not going to argue with you anymore. I wonder if I put you further away if it would make more sense. Sounds like the geese are going over. That might work. See that? Lift up and off. I guess the only thing that's not cut in half is the tube. I don't know if we need to cut the tube in half. I don't think we should. Get this barrel out of our way. Stuff's heavier than it looks. All right. You see all the yuckiness that was there. But this, as tough as this seems, I've only been working on this now, maybe a half hour. And the other tire took me probably 4 or 5 hours to get it broke off. So this is much less time consuming. Now granted, you don't get the tire to have, you know, as a spare at this point, but chances are you don't need a spare, because the one that's on the tractor now is going to last, I don't know, as long as this one did. And the tractor's about 20 years old, so see if we can pop that valve easy. There it goes. It just had a little nut on the back side, but I would have had to go in the building over there to get one. And I could probably jack the tractor up higher, which would make this just fall off easier. So this one, this tractor was supposed to have just molasses in it. A molasses ballast. And for some reason, it's pretty yucky looking. See how that rim is coming up off of the tire. And I have a couple jack stands underneath there on the frame rail, just in case something decides it wants to leak off. See how that one is just about ready to fall. And I could have just used that tractor with the chain hooked to this thing and just pulled it out of there, but Capone said you couldn't do that. Right, Capone? Right? Yeah? Yeah, he says, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Trying to do this one-handed and show you what I'm talking about. But I guess let me put you back. There, are you looking at it? I think so. I don't know. There's that one. And I could get the crowbar, obviously. I'm just doing this all by hand. So I'll show you. I'll get the crowbar. tad bigger than it needs to be. Hold that there. Lose the hat because it's getting warm. I think this tube is holding a smidgen for some reason. Oh, there's still fluid down bottom. There it is. Still quite a bit of fluid. But stay out of it. It's like I said, it's just a molasses mix. So I can rinse it away with water. The other tire had leaked itself all out, other than a little bit left, and we're filling these with beet juice, the new rims and tires. I don't know if it's because they didn't have the molasses based weight or not, but that's what we're doing anyway. So that's essentially it. This thing needs cleaned up, probably wire wheeled. I would say it probably needs wire wheeled. The amount of rust on there. I really don't want to walk through that stuff to come get you guys, so I'll walk around. I know, just molasses, but if it sticks to my shoes, then it ends up upstairs in the house on the floor, and then somebody would not be happy with me. And I'm not talking about Lily or Capone. It would have been somebody else. Would you be upset if I put molasses on the floor? No? Somebody else would be. Okay, so there's that little bit of molasses that came out of the tube. It looks a lot more than it is because it's spread out, but the other nice thing about this stuff is supposedly if I was to lick it, it wouldn't hurt me. And it wouldn't burn like the hydrochloric acid or the, not hydrochloric, calcium chloride. That, like those tires there, yeah, those tires there are filled with calcium chloride. They've been their whole life, but we went through a whole set of the steel rims there, and that's a 1968, so as long as you don't ever have holes in your tubes and leak in the calcium, you're great. But once the tube leaks, this is nothing compared to what the calcium would do. The calcium would eat that, and then the hole in the rim where the tube goes through, instead of being a perfect circle, it'll look like an oval hole, and then you have to weld the nut washer on there, something. But that is that. And rather than beating the living tar out of it, I mean, there is a tool you can buy for around $100 that pushes those off, and then you just use the brake spoon, the spoons, the tire spoons, or long crowbars to peel it off the bead. But I don't have that, and I was just going to push it off the bead with the tractor bucket. I tried that earlier, and that tends to try and push the tractor sideways. And I don't want to lay the tractor over on her side, because she's not healthy when she lays on her side, you know. I don't think Charlie would like that either, but yeah. So sorry, Charlie, we didn't save that rim for a spare, that tire for a spare. But by the looks of it, it wouldn't have made a wonderful spare. And hopefully, like I said, you don't need a spare. If this thing ever starts leaking because you get a screw in it, we're just going to patch the tube or put a new tube in it and keep the rubber anyway, the new rubber. All right, so that's the wonderful world of taking tires off the improper way, the total redneck, with Capone. Hello, Mr. Capone, assisting. But no, I essentially just took that off with the Sawzall and a chisel and a hammer. I mean, I could have gone without the air impact hammer chisel, but you saw it here. Essentially, we just took that tire off with the Sawzall. So, you know the skin a cat analogy. Well, there's another cat we skunned. What do you think, Bone? Say goodbye? Okay. Bye-bye.